Hey guys, so something really cool happened the other day that I thought I'd share with you. A company wanted me to review their product. Can you believe that? Little old Mikey Kincaid. Anyway, it's for a pair of pruning shears, and the thing I really liked about this company was they wrote me and said, you don't have to review us if you don't like it. And they said, don't even worry about it. We'll just send you the pruning shears, see what you think, and if you like it, let your people know about it. So let's do that now. Obviously, I liked them. So these are the pruning shears, and I do have to say they look pretty darn nice. Now if you guys have been watching me for any length of time, you know that I love my Corona shears and I'm never going to give them up. But when I finally got these in the mail, I thought these are really nice. My first impression was this company really cares about their product. Let's take a look at some of the pros and cons and let you see firsthand what's going on with these guys. So the first thing I notice when I take these out of the box is the weight. These things are a lot lighter than my pruning shears right here, the Coronas. And I'm going to take you over to the scale right now and show you exactly what they weigh. So as you can see, the Corona shears are 12.3 ounces. And the Sensei shears are only 8.9 ounces. So the Corona shears are 3.5 ounces heavier than these guys. Now that's not a huge difference, but when you're talking about a small tool, it does make a big difference. The reason these guys are so much lighter is because the handle is actually made out of aluminum, whereas the Corona shears are solid steel all the way across. So the next thing I notice about these is the ergonomics. If you compare the two of these pruning shears, you will see that the Corona blade just goes straight across. Everything from the handle all the way across, the blade, everything just points in one direction. If you take a look at these in comparison, that blade actually angles downward. Let me show you why that's a really important feature. When I'm using my Corona shears, if I have them open like this, and we'll open these guys up as well, you can see that when I have them open and I hold them straight out in front of me, the blade on the Corona shears is actually pointed more straight forward, whereas the blade of these are pointed down. And this is why that matters. When I go to use my Corona shears and I'm cutting, the blade curves, the bottom of the blade here curves up. So I actually have to contort my arm to get underneath things. And when I'm doing lots of pruning and I'm constantly going like this with my shoulder, it can get to be a bit of a problem. With these Sensei pruning shears, the blade already angles downward. So when I open them up, this portion right here is already pointing downward. I don't have to crank my arm as much to get it under material. I can just go right in there and hack away at it. The other difference is in the handle. So if you look at these guys, it's just a straight, blocky, heavy steel handle. Whereas these shears here are meant to fit your hand, and I mean fit comfortably. If you take a look at it head on here, you can see that the top portion of the handle actually curves downward. And where that comes in real handy is when I hold it in the palm of my hand, that portion that curves downward curves right into the palm of my hand, and then this portion right here actually curves down and just makes it much easier to grip. So these handles are very comfortable to hold and fit your hand very, very well. Another key difference is in the locking mechanism. So on the Corona shears here, I've got this little piece here, this little metal wire tab you can see, and it comes right out to unlock, and you can see how it's hanging there. The problem I've had with these in the past is if you pull them out too quickly and kind of hit this tab, it can actually go up to this area, and I've gone to prune things and hit real hard when I clamp down and bent that little steel piece here and actually made it so that I can't lock it again. Then I have to get a screwdriver and bend it back out. So that has been a little bit of a problem for me in the past. Now in regard to the Sensei pruning shears, they make it real easy. You just squeeze the handle a little bit, pull out on that. It's just a tiny little tab right here that just twists in and out. It can't get caught on anything, it can't bend, it can't break. It's just right there to lock up, and it's real nice and smooth. Another big difference in these guys is the way they open. So on this one I've got just a standard steel spring here, and on this guy it's got a coiled flat piece of steel that is solid, or a little more solid than this guy. So on these Corona shears, when I open them up, they just kind of got some bounce to them, which doesn't really matter, but the spring there, you can catch your finger in if you're not careful and pinch it, or sometimes I've caught fabric inside of that. Not a major issue, but it can happen. This guy here, when I let them fly, they're just real clean and crisp when they open. And this part right here is solid, and so you'd be less likely to catch something in there or pinch your finger. So as I always try to do on this channel, I'm going to be as accurate and honest with you guys as I possibly can be. So although there's a lot of benefits to these pruning shears, there's a couple things that I don't necessarily like quite as much. Although they're not major issues, they're not deal breakers at all. These are great pruning shears. There's a couple things that just feel a little bit different to me. So because of the weight issue, and I actually like the weight of my Corona pruning shears, but some people might like the lighter weight. Because of the weight issue, they're not as well balanced. All the weight is in the front end of these guys, and when I'm holding on to them, you can see from the handle forward right here, they're really heavy on the front end of the shears. Not really heavy, but they're heavier on the front end of the shears. When I hold them, when I'm using them, it's not as much of an issue. I don't feel it. I just feel a lighter pair of shears. But I always carry my pruning shears in my pocket, and I carry them kind of on the side of my pants here. And so because they're lighter, they don't fall into my pants as well. I have to kind of shove them down in there. Whereas the Corona shears, they just kind of slide down in. The weight of them pulls them down into my pocket here. So that's just a little difference for me personally. Now, the other thing is, when I'm holding my Corona shears down here in my pocket, when I go to pull them out, I like to pull them out and just grab them like that. You know, and when I'm messing around with them, when I'm moving them around, they're very well balanced. They're a little bit heavier, but they're balanced because they're kind of the same weight all the way through that guy. And so it feels very comfortable to me. Now that may just be a difference, you know, because I've been using those for a long time. But in regard to these Sensei shears here, when I go to put them in my pocket, it's a little tougher because they don't weigh as much, so they don't just naturally want to kind of fall into my pocket. The other thing is the hips on these guys are a little bit wider, and the handles, although they are more comfortable, a lot more comfortable, they're a little fatter, the rubber material here, than the Corona shears are. So when I'm trying to slide them into this little side pocket, they don't fit quite as well. And then when I go to pull them out, they're not as balanced. They're heavier here. Now, I don't know if you guys can call those cons or what. For me, personally, I like the feel of these in my pocket there, how they slide into my pocket and how I hold them, and they're very well balanced. For somebody else, it may not be that big of a deal. And really, to tell you the truth, when I'm actually holding these in my hand and I'm using them, they feel better. The grip feels very comfortable. The ergonomics are great. They fit well in my hand. They just work really, really well. And I really like these pruning shears. Let's show you how they cut real quick. So here's my Coronas, and I've had these for like 10 years now, and although I keep them pretty sharp, they're not as sharp as they probably could be right now, but you know, they cut pretty well. I have to put a little force in there. If they were sharper, it wouldn't be so bad. And this is probably a 1/2 inch thick piece of material. Now let's try the Sensei shears. These guys are pretty dang sharp. They've even got, like most shears, a little notch here that you could use to cut wire right in the front, right up here in the very front of the shears. So overall, how do I feel about these guys? Well, I will tell you first off, I'm never going to give up my Corona shears. I've been using these a long time. I love them, and they do a great job for everything that I do around here. However, I really like these pair of shears. I don't like cheap shears. I don't like just run-of-the-mill $2, $3, $4 shears that you can find anywhere in any big box store. I like a nice set of shears. And these guys, I could easily put right up there with my Corona shears. I am definitely going to keep these, and I'm definitely going to use them moving forward. So if you guys are someone who loves gardening and you like a nice, really comfortable pair of pruning shears, these may be it for you. They're very comfortable, they fit your hand very well, they've got nice features to them, and they're sharp and they cut really, really well. They're lighter weight. What can I say? It's a nice pair of shears. So thank you very much, Sensei Tools, for sending them to me. They're a great pair of shears. I'm going to keep them and I'm going to use them around here. If you guys are interested in getting a pair of these, you can just log on to Amazon, type in Sensei Tools, and I believe it's the first product right on the page there. And you can get you a pair. The price is very, very comparable to the Corona shears. So I think they were right around 20 bucks for this pair of shears here. So if you guys are interested, go there, get you a set, try them out, let me know what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're headed into spring. I'm getting excited about that. We're going to start posting some shots here soon of blooming rhododendrons and everything else that's going on around here. So enjoy your week. Until next time, see you in the next video.